Villager trading in Minecraft is the best way to get all enchantments, full diamond gear, and much more in no time. So, in this Minecraft guide, I'm gonna show you how to build the easiest villager trading hall ever, no redstone, no name tags, and nothing fancy needed. Let's jump right into it. And starting out for this build, we do with the base foundation. For this trading hall, we want to start out by building 2 pillars, both 2 blocks high with 1 gap in the middle. This is where our villager is going to stand in the end. Then we're going to put a roof on top of it and place trapdoors like this on one side. Make sure to put them in a way that they cover a little bit of the upper free block. Now, up next, in front of the opening, under the trapdoor, we're going to put the workstations for our villagers, and depending on which type of villager you want to have to trade with, you put down whichever workstation you need. Don't worry, just in case you're unsure, we're going to go over all villager trades and how to get them in just a minute. For the sake of this video though, we're going to take a librarian as an example, which is why I put down a lectern right here. And this now would be the front of our trading hall. In order to get the villager inside of here, we can either block the lectern from the front and then let the unoccupied villager run into the gap by themselves, or, which is much more convenient, we can just build rails in from the back. The villager is then later driven in with a minecart. And this right here then would be one quote-unquote holding cell for one villager to trade with. You can then just rinse and repeat the entire process to expand the whole thing as long as you want for as many villagers as you need. Just some very important details here. I would highly recommend building this villager trading hall design inside of a protected structure so that no monsters can get in to damage your villagers, no pillager raids, and nothing else that might potentially hurt your villagers. However, if you want to build this whole thing outside, then you will need some additional protection. First of all, I would recommend putting slabs on top of the roof so that monsters can't spawn on top when it gets dark. You want to put more protective blocks and trapdoors around the villagers so that no monster can attack them from the sides, and also no skeletons and pillagers can shoot in. And as always, if you could leave a quick like for the video, that'd be super nice because it always helps Uncle Blacky big time with the YouTube algorithm. Cheers so much for your support. But yeah, now that we have our basic trade hall design, the next step would be to, well, get some villagers inside. And for that, we ideally want to have unoccupied villagers so we can turn them into any type of profession that we want by using the corresponding workstations. Just make sure do not use the nitwit type villager because this one can't be changed into anything else. You want to have the normal unemployed ones. You can either just grab them from a village that you found out in the world by either putting them in a boat and dragging them manually into the trade hall position, but my personal favorite here would be to use a minecart and rails because this way it's much easier to put them into the desired spot. However, ideally, you don't want to just randomly search for villages out in the open, but instead you want to have a villager breeder to produce as many villagers as you need for your trading hall. Just in case you're interested, I already have a full guide on how to make a super easy villager breeder, giving you dozens of villagers per hour, and I'm gonna link you the video up there in the cards as well as at the end of this video so you can check it out later. Just for the sake of this video right here, make sure that whichever villager breeder design you go with, keep it at least 80 blocks away from your trading hall, because otherwise at some point the villager breeder is going to stop producing new villagers because it considers all its beds occupied, which is why you want to take the villagers further than 80 blocks away. You will now have a situation similar to this here, where you have multiple unoccupied villagers sitting in minecarts. These can now be driven into position with the rails that we previously built leading into our trading hall, and once the minecart with the villager is at the end, you're gonna delete the rail behind them and instead place down a trapdoor like this and flap it up. Don't worry, this will make sense in just a second. For now though, just repeat the whole process with the minecarts for every single villager and every single trading slot that you have built. But now that you have the villager in place, let's also quickly go over which types of villagers there are and how you get them so that you can trade for everything you like. To get an armorer, you have to put a blast furnace as working station. For a butcher, take a smoker. A cartographer comes from the cartography table, duh. The cleric needs a brewing stand. A farmer goes with a composter. Fisherman with a barrel. Fletcher with a fletching table. A leatherworker needs a cauldron. For the librarian, we take a lectern. This is probably the most popular one because it can give you all the enchantments in the game, which is also the reason why we took the librarian as an example for this guide. Then the mason would need a stonecutter, a shepherd takes a loom, the toolsmith wants to have a smithing table, and finally, to get a weaponsmith, you put down a grindstone. Again, all of these villager professions do sell interesting stuff, and if you want to, you can build a huge trading hall with all of them. Just for this video today, we only stick to the librarian as an example. But okay, you now built the whole trading hall design and you have all the villagers in the position where you want them to be. This means now you can all take them out of their minecart, by just deleting the minecart under them. Just be careful that you don't accidentally hit them, because then they will be mad at you and have higher prices. But there is one more very, very important step, and listen up closely because otherwise your trade hall is not gonna work. Not every villager of every profession always has the same trading inventory. Some of them offer different stuff. The best example here would be the librarian, which is also why we use that type of villager for this video, because the librarian can sell all different types of enchanted books in the game, which makes them super duper important, and which is why most players want to have all different types of librarians in their trading hall. And here is how you can get these specific enchantments that you need. First of all, right-click on the librarian villager and see what they're selling. If they either don't sell a book at all, or have a book that you don't really need, then what you want to do is delete the lectern in front of them, which is then going to turn them back into an unemployed villager, and then just place the lectern down again. This will then make them a librarian again, however, they now have a different trading inventory. You can just rinse and repeat the whole process until they have exactly that book that you want. And don't worry, if you delete the lectern in front of them, they still can't run out, because this is why we put the trapdoors in the upper position at the very start of the video. Even though it's just a little bit, they cover enough space for the villager to not be able to actually move out. But yeah, even though it is admittedly a bit tedious, by removing and replacing the workstation, you can reroll every villager's inventory until you're satisfied with it. Just one very important thing you need to know: you can only re-roll a villager's inventory if you haven't ever traded with them before. So make sure that you re-roll them first and then start trading with them afterwards. But don't worry, in case you accidentally made a mistake or you need to delete a villager, you can just quickly place down a lava bucket into the holding cell, which is then going to burn the villager so you can replace them. And don't worry, because they died to the lava and not actually to your personal attacks, no other villager around will be mad at you if you do it this way. But yeah, once you have all the villagers you need with the correctly re-rolled inventory, your villager trading hall is theoretically finished. However, there is one more important step that would allow you to massively reduce the prices when trading with the villagers, getting stuff for cheaper from them, and here is how you can do that. See, what we want to do here is turn our villagers into zombified villagers, and then cure those zombified villagers, because that will make the villagers reduce their sales prices. Again, you don't have to do that, you can just use the villagers right off the bat, but it's actually really easy to pull off, so I would highly recommend doing it. Step 1. Delete all the rails on the back of your villager trader and build a tiny little corridor behind it. At one end of the corridor, place an iron door with a button on the inside so you can open it, and then wait until nightfall and lure a zombie into that corridor. Very important note here though, this whole process only works if the game is set to hard difficulty. If it's anything less than that, it will not consistently work, and if you're playing on a server and you're not sure which difficulty the server is set to, then also better just don't try it. But yeah, lure in the zombie, run into the corridor, escape through the door so that the zombie is trapped in the room with all your villagers. Because of the trapdoors on the back, the villagers can't run away, but the zombie is still able to attack them, which will then turn your villagers into zombified villagers. Once all your villagers have been zombified, go back in, take out the zombie, and close off the villager capsules on the back to keep them safe from further monster attacks. The next step then would be to cure the villagers, and the way you do this is actually pretty easy. All you need is a splash potion of weakness, and secondly, you also need a golden apple, which you can easily craft with an apple and a couple of gold nuggets. Then throw the potion of weakness at one of the zombified villagers and then right-click on them with the golden apple, which will initiate a curing process that usually lasts between 3 and 5 minutes. After they're cured, if you interact with them, you will see that they will have reduced their sales price for you. Again, in the past, it was possible to repeat the whole process of zombification and then curing them multiple times to stack multiple discounts so that you would effectively get stuff for free at some point. However, that was unfortunately patched out. Now, one discount is the best you can get. Happy trading! And if you now want to know how to build my super easy villager breeder, getting you dozens of new villagers per hour, then check out this video right here next. See you in the next one, and until then, craft well.